Hi, I'm Leah Basile-Lazarus. Welcome to my art studio in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. I recently just moved to Gig Harbor, Washington, actually, from Evanston, Illinois, where I lived for 44 years and loved living there. But my kids have settled on the West Coast. So Mike and I decided to move. COVID made us do it. And we are now near our one son and my two grandchildren, which is very exciting. Right now, my studio is in my garage, but hopefully in a month or two, I will have an amazing studio attached to my house. And so I'm gonna show you today a series of prints that I'm working on. You can see them behind me. I have used probably about 5 colors and run them through the press about 5 times using different contemporary printmaking processes and stencils. And I'm about to do a few more, and hopefully you'll get to see the finished product at the end of this video. Thanks for watching. I am going to start out with a very bright palette. It is spring. It is maybe the end of COVID. I have been vaccinated. So I'm gonna start out with a very bright base. So right now I have white, yellow, and kind of a chartreuse green. And I'm gonna put a little easy wipe in it to give it some more fluidity and a really nice texture. And part of my process, like I said, is this nervous energy that I have. And I think the layering and the texturing and creating the stencil and pulling color, making color over color over color is really part of why I make prints and why I like paper, pulp painting also. Okay, so this ink is ready to go. So I'm rolling this green over my entire plate. And I am going to take a ceramic tool and create a texture for my background. My work has a lot of energy, and part of this energy comes from my physical art making. The drawing of my lines, or the pouring paper pulp into a stencil, or rolling my ink. All of these processes are really important to the meaning of my work and why I make art. So I've completed drawing on my plate. You can see the light coming through the parts of the ink that I've removed from my plate. I'm gonna get a piece of paper. I use BFK, and I'm going to place my paper on the plate. And then I am going to place 3 or 4 sheets of paper so my blankets don't get dirty. And then I have 3 blankets that go over that. This allows the best impression of the print to come out. I have an electric press. And I'm going to roll it through. Take my blankets off, and so you will see a nice texture on my paper. And I'm going to get a second sheet of paper, and I am going to print it without rolling fresh ink on it. This is going to be my ghost image. That's what this is called, a ghost image. This is going to be a lighter version, a very light version of what I did, but it will create a different background for my prints. So I have mixed this beautiful teal-like color, blue-green color. That's going to be the next color of my on my print. I'm going to roll out some ink. I'm going to roll this color on my plate. I've started inking up some stencils. I've mixed this kind of minty olivey green. So I've started putting a second color on my pieces, and I started at first doing a very subtle second layer, and then I went a little crazy and did a kind of a bright green. So what you see here is my plate with a inked up and textured, and then I applied cut out pieces of paper and Pellon to block out color. And later I'll show you the results actually. So what I'm going to do now is take off the paper and the stencils, and underneath the stencil I've removed more ink. So we're going to do a ghost image and see what happens there. Remember, I'm working on 5 images at one time, and so I want to get the most out of my ink and my plate, and so I do multiple runs. And so I now have no more stencils on here, but you can see as the light comes through that some areas are darker than others. I am going to put on my BFK. And like I've been doing, put paper on so I don't get ink on my blankets. So I've already textured my paper and rolled it through the press, and I am taking off the paper, and I've created actually just a beautiful another stencil blocking out some areas. Now I'm going to use this again. This is I'm rolling it through for the second time without re-inking, so I'm actually going to cushion it a little more. Get my blankets. And I might even roll it through a third time. I'm not really sure. I know that my stencils that are on the plate have a lot of ink on them, so I might use them again. There was a lot of ink on there, so another really good print. I'm going to cut out just some big areas, maybe building-like areas or tops of buildings. Again, putting my paper down. I have not re-inked my plates. And I will run it back and forth again. Much lighter, but actually with this print, the lightness is good. So after a few hours of printing and using stencils and probably using 3 colors and just printing, using the ghost, printing a ghost print and applying stencils in different ways, I've created all of these pretty much base textures for 5 prints. 3 weeks later, and here are my finished 5 monoprints, kind of expressing spring and also the frenetic activity in a community.